Okay, gang. So, for our starting joke today, I think we should, let our guests make the funny joke that's going to start off the podcast. So, Hannibal and Monty, why don't you go ahead and make a funny joke for us? You're a funny internet man. Go for it.
Well,
Hey there, welcome to Your Internet Friends. See, we have black friends. It was okay. I, of course, am your host, Wunitsu. I am joined by Benatical.
Hey!
Irish Devil.
Vulture.
And we have a special guest today, American Nightmare. Welcome,
Welcome, Nightmare.
welcome, Nightmare.
Special guest star.
I'm kidding. So we're joined today by two special guests, Hannibal and Monty from the show.
what's up?
And we are live. Are we live, Monty?
We're live as fuck.
That's
Woo!
what I like to hear. Welcome
All
to
right.
Your Internet Friend podcast.
Oh my god. Damn, that...
Episode 4, maybe an episode about...
Watch out there now.
Okay, you guys have, like, the butteriest radio show voices. I love that.
Honestly, you really do. You guys,
Monty
you
used
guys
to
were
be on the
making
radio.
this shit. You guys were making this shit.
It's funny.
They
It's
make
the
us look
first
like
time anybody
great
ever
jokes.
described my voice as buttery before.
It's like biting into a
It's the
delicious...
first white person that we
It's like it's biting into a biscuit of professional voice acting. Like fucking, it's amazing. I love it.
All right, so Woony, should we explain what we're doing in this episode?
Yeah, we should. So today we are investigating, or I guess going over everyone's top 10 comic book villains.
Oh wait.
And that's because Monty here is a comic book illustrator and
Yeah.
author.
Tell us some of the
very
works you've engaged in, Monty.
true. Nothing major. All independent stuff. Like all.
Well,
Oh, wow. So really just like
yeah.
not renowned at all.
Jesus Christ.
No, look, yeah. I'm real. I'm very real with who I am as an artist. Like I've done some of the most awesome comics that none of you have ever read.
I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
fair.
I've seen this guy's stuff on his Discord. It is fucking baller, dude. Your art is great.
I have seen
I've
some as
literally
well.
got pictures Monty drew me in my bed.
See,
You went super staticky there, but something's in your room.
see, Monty here, the comic book guy. He is super into villains, and good for him because
I
villains
also am into
are the
villains.
spice of comic books. I mean, other than just being the good antagonist, they always get to reflect those dark, evil thoughts and struggles that we all deal with, and kind of just
I'm
want to
gonna
sort
be
of
real.
explore. And I think that that's cool that we can sort of get to enjoy, to play around with them. I think that is why they are the perfect subject for our top 10
Yeah,
list. Because let's be
indeed.
honest,
I
villains
agree.
are often more than half of the reason why we read our comic books. Let's be honest.
I've always been a major fan of villains.
Mhm.
Something my mom always told me about me when I was a kid, because I guess I was too young to remember this. She said I used to watch Peter Pan on repeat, and I would cry at the end every time, because every time I watched it, I would restart the movie with the hope Captain Hook would win.
Aww.
To be fair, Peter Pan was a
I was sort of the same way. I would always get pissed off watching Tom and Jerry because I was like, God damn it, Tom always puts so much effort into catching Jerry and he never fucking gets him.
Never
I'm like,
fucking catches them.
yeah, I'm like,
Guys,
God damn
I
it.
ju-
The villains
Hey.
are always the ones who have to like struggle, and these heroes just get like handed victory. I'm like, fuck that,
Have
dude.
you guys looked at the actual biological statistics on how fast a roadrunner can run and how fast a coyote can run? A coyote would be able to catch a
21 miles
roadrunner,
an
no
hour.
fucking problem.
Animators just
I always got mad because I was like, Sauron just wants his fucking ring back, guys. Stop stealing from him.
Stop stealing.
Voldemort just wants to commit genocide. Come on.
Yeah, Voldemort just wants to be Wizard Hitler. What's wrong with that?
Palpatine just wants a safe and secure society. What's wrong with you all?
Stalin
I
just-
mean, I've actually heard arguments as to why the Empire were the good guys in Star Wars.
The Empire. If you read the expanded universe, the Empire.
We're going down a rabbit hole with this.
We are.
all
we are.
I'm saying is that
in opening
we all
banter.
love villains. We all love villains.
Villains are honestly, in my opinion, the most, or maybe not the most interesting part of fiction, but definitely one of the most
Yeah.
interesting parts of fiction.
I've been ever since I watched like Batman the animated series, villains and like writing villainous characters and exploring them has always been a big part of my writing. I just love it, and I'm so glad that you guys chose this great topic for us, Hannibal and Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. You know we love.
Wait a minute, motherfucker. Wait a minute. What?
I was gonna roll with it. I was like,
Nightmare
Alright,
hold on.
no.
We stole all the
Who
credit.
the fuck came up with this idea?
Like,
It was my idea.
listen. I love these two guys, but they're not stealing my fucking ideas.
Listen, we got to throw these guys a bones, dude. They like really their podcast is really unpopular right now. Nobody watches it. Like your internet friends is their only chance to get fame.
yeah, Nightmare, we're really struggling, dude. Help us out.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I had to buy Monty like 4 shots of.
Yeah,
That's fair.
He
But
did,
yeah,
he did.
enough with the foreplay though. Let's get
That's
right into
fair,
the villainy.
I would have Nightmare buy me 4 shots of whiskey.
So I think we've all compiled a list of 10 or more in some of our comic book creators' cases of our favorite
Oh, no.
villains.
Oh no, I'm down to 10 because
Oh, okay.
I'll be honest.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I really messed up and I did all villains from everything. So I just
Oh.
I just cleaned my list up and now it's just comic book.
Yeah, no,
Well, good.
that's
Good.
honestly fair,
Yeah.
Monty, because Nightmare was not super specific with us. So
Yeah.
my initial list
I told you
also.
villains in
No,
general.
yeah, no, you told me villains in general, and then later on, like 2 days later, it was like, oh yeah, it's comic book villains, and it's like, oh,
If we just got to do like villains, like if half of my choices would be gone. Like I'm like, oh.
no,
my-
and
I told you.
honestly, comic book villains is way better, and for this because it's way more
Yeah.
narrowed down, and
And it's very relatable to
it was
our
a little more difficult for me to think of,
yeah.
but I feel like it caused me to actually sit down and think about it more.
Yeah. And it's
Um,
very
go
relatable
first.
to one of our guests. I don't know about you, Hannibal. Do you know comics?
Yeah,
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I thought we were doing all villains from all universes. So my list is wild and all over the place.
That's
know what? Whatever.
We're fine with that. We're fine
Yeah.
with that.
Hannibal's
I
a
have no
wild
issue.
card.
Well,
Hannibal-
I'll say this: unlike Hannibal, I followed the rules.
Yeah, sure.
You know what, Monty?
Just
you
like
know
a black
how
man. No, never mind.
Right. Yes, no, listen, you black asshole, all right? How dare you shame us? We're around other people. We're around
No,
company right
no,
now. Okay?
no.
You don't do this around company.
Listen. You don't understand. I'm one of you, ACAB. I believe in your
To be
struggle.
fair, Banatical does look like a white woman. So Monty should go with
Yeah,
it.
Banatical does look like a white woman, so straight up.
You can listen. If having my
Honestly, if I was drunk enough, I'd fuck Banatical.
listen, if ravaging my femboy pussy is what it takes, I'm willing to sacrifice
Rooney,
myself. Okay.
Jesus.
Sticks, cut that. What he just said out.
All right.
No,
All right. Do what you will at your discretion, Quick Six. But I feel like it's
All right,
time.
now who's
It's
going
time to
first?
get on the juicier, saucier topic of our comic book lists. So, who wants to go first?
You know what? If no one else will go, I guess I can.
I'll go
Ooh.
first.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Well, okay, Irish. Do you want to go first? Or
Yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah,
I think some
I-
of mine are going to be less controversial. At least I think my like top 5 aren't going to be too good. Well, I definitely expect Monty to disagree with some of them, but oh shit! 1 second. Mark gone.
I'm
Oh,
looking
I'm
forward
here.
to this.
Oh no,
I'm
he's
here.
there. There he is. No,
Yeah.
he's there. It was
Yeah, I'm here.
for some reason you
Yeah,
disappeared from me for a second.
was
Yeah,
But
no,
I
I'm
definitely,
here.
I definitely expect you to disagree with some of them. But there's like 1 or 2 you can't really deny their sheer greatness, basically based on both writing and character popularity.
Okay,
So I'm gonna start. Obviously, I'm gonna start with I'm gonna go from 10 up to 1 because they kind of build. Now you can make an argument that my 10 is an anti-hero because my 10 is Venom, and by Venom I mean Brock Venom.
Oh, Brock
Yeah.
Venom.
Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Eddie Brock Venom
Oh.
being one of the most iconic Marvel villains of all time because he was obviously the antithesis
Yeah.
to Spider-Man.
Well, why'd you choose him for number 10 specifically?
Because I a lot of my other ones were like DC guys, and I got down to them. I'm like,
So
who do I
he's-
really like from Marvel?
So he's your Marvel like fucking tribute. Like, yeah, no,
The
I'll pay
token
him.
Marvel character.
Token Marvel.
Marvel dudes on there. More Marvel dudes on there. Now number 9 for me is Ultron.
Oh, good pick. Okay.
Not a bad
Ultron
one.
for me is this is the thing. As a comic book fan and not before I was
The movies did him
Marvel
a
movie
disservice.
fan. Yeah, but for me, Ultron is the Avengers. He's the guy who's kicked their ass more times than anyone really.
What about
he
Kang? I
was-
think Kang's their ass more too. I'm sorry.
Well, yes,
I
but
didn't mean to
Kang,
interrupt.
From the
has
Teenage
the-
Mutant Ninja Turtles? Oh, Krang. Sorry.
No, that's
Oh.
Krang.
No, Kang the
Okay,
Conqueror.
sorry.
Kang's kicked their ass a lot, but I know just growing up, it was a lot of it was Ultron. I remember watching the next Avengers animated movie when it came out and seeing Ultron kick, like literally murder all the Avengers except for Hulk and Thor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
we
but then
watched
he let
that.
the kid.
Because
Then
he
let the
couldn't
kids live. It was
kill
super
them.
weird. It was like he was able to kill all the parents, but he couldn't kill the children. It was a weird movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy shit! Maybe Ultron is Skylar Fiction. You don't know who that is, Hannibal. I don't know if anybody else does. I might have to bring that up with him.
he tried to murder the children, but for some reason, plot armor, of course, and of course, the Hulk, being the Hulk, was able to kick the shit out of him. But of course, they do have a habit of nerfing the Hulk at random points during the history or boosting him as well. Now, my number 8 is by far, in my opinion, leaps and bounds the best Marvel villain, Doctor Doom.
Oh.
Nice,
Doom,
nice. Okay.
Doom is the Marvel
Doom
villain.
is a great villain.
I would say he's
Doom
definitely
has done
memorable,
shit
but
that
I
no other villain. Doom ripped out Thanos' spine with his bare hands.
He also literally is the dictator of an Eastern European country.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, Dr. Doom. Forgotten about Dr. Doom.
What?
Tried to get rid of him as the leader of that country. The people like revolted against the idea of anyone replacing Doom for a while. And then I know they had in one of the games, I think it was Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. They were like, Doom is now in Asgard getting tortured by Odin for the things he did in the first video game. And what do the fucking Avengers do but go into Latveria and commit fucking terrorism, destroy a giant weapons base, and turn the new president into an evil cyborg?
Yes, yes.
So it's
Not to
it's
mention,
almost
like, Doom is also probably the
Latveria.
second most powerful sorcerer behind Doctor Strange.
Oh yeah.
He's a bad
to
one.
be, well, point out that Scarlet Witch's reality warping magic infinitely more powerful than Strange's regular magic.
Okay, fuck you, Irish. You know what I'm trying to say.
That's true. My number 7 is Mr. Suit and Tie himself, Lex Luthor.
Not a bad
Oh,
choice.
Okay. Okay.
What
Also
would you
known
say is your favorite story arc with Luthor? Because there have been a lot.
Oh, there was a lot of because I'm a big DC animated universe fan. Especially the recent movies. I really like Reign of the Superman.
That was a good one.
Didn't particularly like Apocalypse War because it kind of shot on a lot of stuff that was built up in the animated universe.
Yeah.
I haven't read a lot of it, but from what I've seen of the recent Apex Lex storyline was pretty good.
I love it when he gave Superman cancer.
Yeah. As a fellow DC animated fan who did not pick Lex Luthor for his list, I want to say that I really liked the stuff with President Luthor that they did in Justice League Unlimited. Like, he was fucking like, running for president. It was such such an interesting moral dilemma for Superman, which is really when Superman shines as a hero, when he has to deal with like moral dilemmas instead of just fight the big bad monster. That's when he
You know what I prefer honestly over vanilla Superman and vanilla like Lex Luthor and all that. I like the
Neapolitan.
the alternate version. No, I was gonna say the versions of Superman, like Red
Oh, the
Sun
alternate
or
version of Superman.
Superman. Like
Pink
I feel
Superman when he grows
Superman,
big titties.
Superman has the most boring, generic, like default universe version, but
Yeah.
his alternate universe versions are always the most interesting.
It is
Injustice, Superboy Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But also,
Yep.
I
one of
agree with
the,
all that about Superman, but Justice League Unlimited was the only. I'm not a Superman fan.
Yeah.
Justice League Unlimited was the only series I saw that made Superman look like a total badass.
Yeah, but
I
that's
will agree
because
with
that,
that.
and
100%
and
agree with
and you
that.
know what? I side with you
Um,
100%, Monty, and that's because they understand that Superman is not an interesting villain because he's big, powerful, and can fight guys. It's because he has to serve as a pillar of what is
Interesting
right,
character,
as
not
what is
villain.
right in
hold on, I have
society.
something to say.
Like, hold on. Let me finish here. He needs to struggle with being the pillar of what is right in society and having to deal with that stress and trying to figure out what he wants to do for society. It's a big like moral question, and Bruce Timm and the people who made that series understood that is the main intrigue of Superman.
Yeah, I honestly
and
agree.
They brought it all together with that one line where he faces off with Darkseid, and when he goes, "Well, with you, big boy, I get to cut loose," and
Yeah.
he punches him through like 6 buildings.
Yeah,
Like,
and he starts dancing. You know, he
Many
starts dancing like he
shitheads
goes
might
like
be seeing
cut
this.
loose, a foot loose. You know, I thought it was a little
Yeah.
weird of them to include that scene, but it was very powerful emotionally.
Yeah, you cut that out, it's way more powerful.
Yeah, it's way more
To
powerful.
any shitheads that might be watching this, I just want to say, see, me and Monty do agree on something.
See, there you go.
Okay,
Yeah, no.
for me, my next villain is one you don't imagine most of you have on your list, but I consider him probably the best. He's definitely the best Lantern villain for me, and it's Sinestro.
Ooh.
Oh,
Okay, so
Ooh, I
now
actually do.
not
I
everyone-
have a Lantern villain on my list, but I disagree with you on
Probably
who the best one is.
okay,
I've got
so
a
with
Lantern
the
villain on
bigger
mine, too.
choices, I want to hear better explanations for why they're so
Okay,
high up.
no,
So yeah, what is
Sinestro-
intriguing to you about Sinestro?
Sinestro is probably, in my opinion, the best core. The
Mhm.
Sinestro core, the Yellow Lantern core. They have the best both. Mind you, yellow might be a shitty color for the fear. They also have the best, in my opinion, the coolest emotional entity because he's the one that's been in the most storylines. Like there was a storyline semi recently where Parallax,
Hal
went
Jordan's
small.
Parallax, correct?
No, not Hal Jordan's Parallax, just Parallax, like the emotional spectrum entity of fear.
I got it.
Oh yeah,
He went. to
Wait, was
fucking
this during the
Smallville.
Black Lanterns? The Black Lantern?
Oh, that's Necron.
yeah.
But he was the giant. He was like he was basically the Grim Reaper, but his scythe was the power battery. But the Yellow Lantern Corps has some like pretty cool members. Hal has been a member before. The fact that Sinestro has crossed back from being Yellow Lantern and also to being a Green Lantern again, and that technically he was almost the first White Lantern because he was the one who beat the Life Entity in the Blackest Nights saga to get the White Lantern ring, but Hal Jordan stole it from him.
Yeah.
And gave it to Kyle Ryan.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
actually,
no,
I honestly, Green Lantern, I don't want to say Green Lantern's one of my favorite heroes, but the Green Lantern like universe and
Yeah.
comic series it has always been one of my favorite.
The shit they did
you and
recently
Zoe
with
agree. Zoe loves everything Green Lantern.
Yeah, see that?
Even the movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yes,
Yeah.
she loves
oh
it.
that
Ooh.
Forgot how young she was when that came out.
That's
Like,
fair.
yeah,
That's
another
fair.
one
for
She's
Sinestro,
got the nostalgia
Yeah.
excuse.
Yeah.
It's okay for like Phantom Menace because it's like you were a kid when it came out. You're allowed to like it.
This is what having a comic book father will do to you. It'll make you like the Green Lantern movie.
Exactly.
that was actually one of the arguments I always made. People were like, "Oh, the Green Lantern movie's fucking terrible," and I was like, "You know why it's terrible? It's because the post-credit scene of Sinestro putting on that ring is better than the rest of the movie."
Yeah, you know,
Like
You're not wrong at all.
From
on a shit show
Mark Strong.
in July, we're most likely going to have the cutting room floors Jon Stewart for that movie.
Ooh.
Oh damn.
That sounds
the guy
interesting.
that played John Stewart but didn't make the cut.
Wow.
I know they
Ah,
made,
damn.
I know they made Diggle John Stewart at the end of Arrow
Yeah.
recently.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, his actual last name is Stewart, and at the end of Arrow, he finds the Green Lantern ring.
Wow. I
A
could
lot of stuff
rewatch that
happens at the end
series.
of Arrow. It's just like, Now, after Sinestro, I have, ironically enough, out of all the villains, the person he's friends with, Black Adam.
Hannibal, put your
Okay.
dildo away.
I got Adam on my list also.
Black
I'm
Adam.
gonna be real,
one
that's a
of the most-
respectable choice in my opinion.
He's one of the
Yeah.
most underrated villains of all time. People are like, oh, he's just evil Shazam. I'm like, no.
Yeah, but
No.
I'm gonna be real. Being an evil, even he was just an evil Shazam. That's something in and of itself. Because
He
I'm
has
gonna
the
be real.
power of
I
the
believe,
Egyptian god.
and you can argue, you can point to comic books where Superman beat Shazam, and fuck you. No, based on the rules as I understand them, Shazam is Superman powered by magic. Superman
Yes,
has a weakness to magic,
Magic.
therefore Shazam would whoop Superman's ass every time.
It's
He
true.
would, if not for the fact that Clark is considerably
Would, and I
stronger
will
than
die
Clark.
on that hill. I will
He has
die on that
beaten
hill.
Clark in the past.
Yeah, not for long, in fairness. But
Yeah, no,
unlike Shazam, Adam has beaten Clark in the past.
no.
This
So
is the thing
an
everyone forgets.
evil Shazam
Adam
is fucking something in and of
I
itself.
thought you
Yeah.
said Croc, and I was like, that's not very impressive.
Yeah, everyone
hasn't beat
forgets that
Croc?
Adam is physically, in terms of like raw power, stronger than Clark is. He's one of the few people that if he punches Superman in the face, there's a chance he's breaking
Superman
his
fucking
face.
feels it.
Yeah, like he
Superman will
does.
feel the
There's a good
fucking
chance that
punch,
Adam is
man.
breaking his bones. The only time Kryptonian really whipped Adam's ass is whenever he fought Ultraman, and Ultraman had no weakness to magic at all. So he just crushed Adam's jaw like it was made of paper, so that he couldn't say Shazam. Just hit him with lightning. Some
Yeah.
of the shit that Adam has done, like World War III, was a really underrated comic, where it took the combined force of the Titans, the Justice Society of America, and the Justice League of America, minus the big three, of course, because there was some political reason they couldn't get involved. It took all of them to bring down Black Adam, and it took like the 5 most powerful magic users on Earth, besides Black Adam, to like subdue him, and they couldn't even beat him. They had literally just have to switch his word from being Shazam to being something he would never say. An example of people who kicked the shit out of it.
I've got a
Everyone
micro
has
penis.
the same word.
Yeah,
Just
Black
real
Adam
quick.
in that story.
Yo,
gave
baby,
me
you
an
want a
idea,
taste of this
Hannibal.
micro penis? You'd never say that.
Yeah, Jesus. In that storyline, Black Adam killed 2 of the Teen Titans like it was effortless. He ripped off Kid Frankenstein's arms like they were made of paper and punched a hole like she was made of wet paper. It was actually really funny because it was like Terra was like in the air, not trying to do anything. Kid Frankenstein was like, Adam, calm down. Adam tears his hands off, says, "Do you want war?" and then punches a hole through Terra for like no reason, and then flies away, fist covered in blood in the war.
Devil, you
He
really
also,
do.
in that storyline, murdered the 4 horsemen.
Yeah.
He killed the horsemen. Oh, and don't forget, in that storyline, he committed a genocide with his bare hands. Because the nation of Bialia, did a bit. Like, I think they destroyed Kondak, which is obviously his kingdom, and he went to Bialia and killed every man, woman, and child with his bare hands.
Damn.
He is a monster.
The biggest somebody
The
broke into my
Bialian
house.
genocide.
All
Black
right.
Adam.
So who's your next pick, bro?
My next pick is
Can you give us a number? I'm lost.
Yeah, I
Adam,
forgot what number.
Adam was my number 5. My number
okay.
4 is the ultimate killing machine, Doomsday.
Modoc. Oh,
Mm.
Doomsday.
Okay.
Doomsday
Okay.
is, everyone says, oh, there's always the old adage, Doomsday is just a rip-off. I'm like, no. Doomsday is, like, Superman is your measuring stick for supervillain or for superheroes. Doomsday is your measuring stick for supervillains. Doomsday's had done some of the most OP shit. Like the time that back in, like, I think it was either during the golden era or like the late golden era, where he
I
just
think he
tanked
first showed up in the
the-
90s, didn't he?
Well, he tanked it
With the death of
dramatic-
Superman, didn't he?
Yeah.
That's
They had those like
Yeah.
little scenes of him in like every comic book. It was like slowly the fucking metal cargo bag that he was in like would get punched out until he eventually
Yeah.
revealed himself. It was kind of cool.
Yes, and the worst thing is that the version that killed Superman was only Baby Doomsday. It was only like Doomsday's original form. Doomsday, as he stands now, has kicked the shit out of just about everyone you can imagine. He has
And not to mention,
mollywopped
like,
the
he
entire
becomes
world.
impervious to whatever killed him beforehand.
He's also impervious to Darkseid, the mega beams.
Yeah.
He just shrugged them off and then proceeded to kick the shit out of Darkseid one day. Mind you, then Darkseid did get back up a few hours later while Doomsday was trying to kill Superman and kicked the shit out of him. Doomsday, there was a comic. It was the weird comic where they made Superman and did Super Doom for a while. But when it was what they called Alpha Doomsday, where Doomsday had finally evolved into his adult form, where he was like, instead of being 8 feet tall, he was now like fucking 20 feet tall. Had like a lot more bones and horns and everything.
Like a
And,
Pokemon.
He also radiated death to such a degree that as he crossed Africa, the wilderness became an endangered species. He didn't kill them by like trying to murder them. He radiated like an aura of death to the point where they were bursting into flames by being near them.
That's
Even
fucking
Wonder
great.
Woman could only
Sounds
fight
like
his
Monty with his white women.
Oh,
But
Damn.
he legitimately
Don't make me
like-
end your show.
I technically ended your show last time I was on it, bitch.
yeah he's kicked the shit out of just about everyone. He's a good brute. He's the good brute villain in DC. Like he's
Yeah.
the mindless monster. Every mindless monster like Mammoth and Blockbuster and all the rest of them are just kind of like shitty.
King
dudes.
Shark.
Yeah. Well, King
don't you
Shark,
fuck on King Shark? He's a shark.
King Shark wouldn't really like. I wouldn't even put him league as Doomsday because like Blockbuster and Mammoth could survive.
Oh no, of
for
course.
Because Blockbuster and Mammoth could probably survive for about 5 minutes against Doomsday before he tore him in half. King Shark would die after the first punch.
Yeah. But King Shark is just a cool shark that drinks blood. What's not to like?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, my next one, you're all gonna be in your top three. Number 3 for me is Welcome to the Madhouse. It's the Joker. He's
Not a bad take, I would say.
he's the villain. He's the villain.
He really is.
He's the people think comic book villain. People think Joker. He's the man with a million backstories. The man with like 6 fucking names. He was Jack Napier. He was the man who laughed.
Jack White.
He became the Batman who laughed Batman who laughed is obviously just Batman on Joker. He was during the gods storyline where all the Justice League became gods, like whenever Batman became the god of knowledge and Superman became the god of power and Lex Luthor
Yeah,
became
Batman
the god
got Mobius's chip.
Yeah. Everyone forgets though, Joker was the god of laughter in the storyline. He was Gallows, the god of laughter. But the reason I love Joker so much is he's so you can't blame it on a maliciousness. He's just so insane, so crazy, and he exists not to kill Batman or destroy Batman. He exists simply for Batman. Like, if you remember The Dark Knight Returns, when Batman retired, Joker went into a fucking coma. Basically,
Yep.
Like
Yep, I
Joker went
remember
into a
that.
vegetative state simply because Batman wasn't around anymore.
And then he came back as soon as Batman came back and killed all this.
Yeah, and then Bruce killed him. Well, Bruce broke his neck, and then Joker killed himself.
That
the
is
amount
such a
of time-
bullshit plot choice, but
Yeah, Joker just went, I'm going to move my neck to the right. Dead. Joker
Wasn't
has
that
done
was
some
a
of the most
Returns
egregious
Dark
shit.
Knight?
Joker's done some of the most egregious
Yeah.
shit as well. He crippled and raped Barbara Gordon.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
didn't he
Whichever
bomb
one
an
did that.
orphanage once?
He did. He murdered.
He's done
Jim Gordon
everything
while
bad.
she
Yes,
was
yes.
holding the
He's
baby.
You left out the worst part of him crippling and raping Barbara.
Oh yeah, he showed it to Jim Gordon to destroy his mind to prove a
He
point that
literally
one bad
only
day.
did it to show it to
He showed,
Jim
Yeah.
Gordon.
He showed
Yeah.
it to Jim Gordon while after stripping Jim Gordon naked
Mhm.
and sending him through a funhouse naked
Yeah.
and tied up.
While singing a
Look,
lovely musical, may I
Don't
just
Don't
say.
use the white girl joke.
He murdered Jim
Like-
Gordon's wife because
It's
he
a
had an
very
option.
good. The Killing Joke is a very nice comic.
She
Yeah.
had the option. Jim Gordon's wife had the option of shooting the Joker, catching a baby that he threw. So when he threw the baby, she caught the baby, and then he shot her.
Yeah.
The baby was fine, but he shot her dead in the fucking forehead as soon as she caught the baby.
So, who's number 2, Ira?
Yeah, who is number 2?
I am death. I am entropy. I am Darkseid.
Darkseid.
Darkseid is he's DC's biggest bad.
Thanos with a
Yeah.
cooler helmet.
Thanos' blueprint.
He would
actually.
beat the shit out of Thanos.
Oh,
Probably.
this is the thing. Everyone makes
He
the
is a
argument
god.
who would win. Thanos, it's one of the few screw attack battles where death battles where it's just like, hey, this is completely acceptable. Because Thanos' whole thing was he kept using the Infinity Gauntlet in the battle to like snap a Darkseid out of existence, and Darkseid kept reappearing, and people were like, oh, that's bullshit. I'm like, no, because Darkseid has this little Deus Ex Machina power of the never being able to show up in his true form, because it is shown in comic books that if his true form enters the multiverse ends.
Okay, I just want to red pill you on fucking Darkseid. He's just basically that fucking obnoxious nerd in class who's just basically like, right now I'm solving the death equation right now. I'm pretty much I'm gonna become the most famous and popular person once I solve it. I'll pretty much be able to rule the universe.
Darkseid doesn't even need the anti-life equation.
Yeah, that's what it is, the anti-life equation.
If he wanted to, if he really wanted to, he could just open up a portal to the fourth dimension, stick his face through it, and annihilate the entire universe with the Omega Sanction.
Yeah.
People
But he
forget
wouldn't be
that
able. But
most
can he put that up
powerful
on like a fucking a fucking draw the whiteboard and be like, see guys, I can kill life.
And once again, not again, because I've never said it to you guys.
Yeah.
This is my problem with the universe. That you need a villain that powerful
Yeah.
to challenge the heroes in the DC.
I will always point out as well that Darkseid has gotten his ass kicked a lot of times, and he got his ass kicked in a lot of campy ways. I mean,
Batman technically beat him in the Hell battle.
Oh, he beat the crap out of Darkseid, but if he'd stayed for another 5 minutes, he would have died just because his heart.
Yeah, I know he would have died, but he still beat the hell out of Darkseid. That's
Yeah.
And it was the best.
He beat him on a bluff.
Darkseid.
yeah, he went to Apocalypse and beat him.
Yeah.
But Darkseid has
Yeah.
recently killed a member of the Justice League as well. He killed one of the new Green Lanterns, Jessica Cruz.
Yeah.
He reduced her to a pile of ash.
Yeah. But Irish, you've chosen DC's biggest bad as your number 2. Who could be number 1?
The
Yeah.
most evil villain in all of DC. Eobard Thawne.
Oh, good
Professor
pick.
Zoom.
Oh,
The
zoom,
The
zoom,
definition.
zoom.
You want to talk about it like people, Joker's the most evil villain? No. Eobard Thawne is pure, unadulterated evil, and he exists simply to hurt one person. That is
I agree
all he does.
100%.
He is pure evil. He makes that's the thing as well. Eobard Thawne, probably the most powerful villain on like on DC. People are like, oh, but like Black Adam and like Bizarro. I'm like, could snatch their hearts out of their chests before they knew he was there. He's faster than almost everyone, depending on what comic. He might be slightly slower than Wally or slightly slower than Barry, but generally, Thawne is usually like joint fastest or the fastest speedster. His fucking he's so evil that even his clone did fucked up things. His clone made Wally West's wife have a miscarriage by snapping his fingers. And the sonic boom killed the kids in the womb.
Yep.
Eobard Thawne, it's the fact that he can. It wasn't just the Arrowverse that really got me into Thawne. Thawne was he was one of those villains that it's like, oh, he's just kind of the evil version of his hero. And it's like, yes, but no. Because he's some of the shit he's done, like there's a series where it's Eobard Thawne like trying to travel back to the modern time because he gets sent back to the start of time, and it's him as like an old grand, and like one of his like ancestors is about to get murdered by a bunch of like I think they're like Mongols or Huns or something, And he's an old man, has like really long fingernails, but obviously because it's not the modern era, he doesn't have much speed energy left. And he in literally the snap of a finger, he has killed all of those guys by just dashing at them at like the speed of sound and slashing them open with his fingernails. And those are just human normal fingernails. He just was able to do it because he did it so quickly, instant death. Thawne is he's pure evil. It's not, and he's not insane either. That's the worst thing about it. He's not insane. He's just pure, unadulterated evil. He exists.
He's just angry. He's just angry and bitter.
He exists literally just to go back in time and kill his mom in front of him. Some of the shit he's done as well, like with the time that he made himself look like Barry and like tried to fuck Iris.
All right, Irish is at the end of your list.
Yes, there's also Thawne is responsible for causing the New 52.
Yep.
No, that was Dr. Manhattan, was it not?
Yeah.
No, Dr. Manhattan fucked with the timeline. Barry was running back and caused the. We would never have gotten Flashpoint if not for the fact that Thawne had fucked up Barry's day so badly by almost blowing up the Flash Museum and also almost killing all of Barry's other rogues just to dick with him. And then back in time with Barry and fucking shattering his leg and making him try to watch the apocalypse if it wasn't for the fact that Thomas Wayne
puts a bullet in his head.
Yeah.
That's only in the movie. In the comic, he runs him through with an Amazonian sword.
Nice.
Funnily enough,
I'll go next, to be honest.
In the movie, he gets a good shot through the head.
I thought about going next, but you can go if you want.
He comes back in the later movie. Is fine. He's used his powers to create a time shift around himself, so he exists both with the bullet hole and with not the bullet hole at the same time. And he's literally just trying to get like a magic object so he can fix the hole and then go killing people.
All right, Devil, this is badass. I'm not gonna lie, but I also don't think we could just go on describing our characters for like a second.
I'm a little too baked to go into super detail because I'm gonna be real. I've been smoking weed this entire time.
As we
Irish took fucking ever.
I'm so jealous.
So let me just go in. Number 10, I have chosen Magneto.
Oh,
nice.
Good pick.
That's a good pick.
I honestly,
I use Magneto to describe white privilege to all my white friends.
Yeah, so. He is a really
never told me that.
I actually, Looney, I hope you don't mind if we distract a little bit. I want to know how would you like phrase that using Magneto as an example, because that's interesting.
So no, it's
Magneto white privilege.
I can't even take credit for this. I heard a comedian say it, but I've been saying it all the time. It was just like when you need to describe white privilege to white people, it's like, all right, so you know how like in the X-Men movies, Magneto like walks out in the thin air, like a bridge will just form underneath his. That's white privilege. Like,
I get you. Okay, I see what you're trying to say.
Wherever white people go,
such a good.
Yeah. See, I've
always thought that he was like a great example of like
Well, I always think that
eugenics.
The mutant struggle is a good example. Yeah. Well, yeah, I would say that he's definitely a good example of like I would say reverse eugenics, I guess, like minorities trying to engage in mass eugenics. But I always thought that like the mutant struggle.
He was in the Holocaust, wasn't he?
Yeah, essentially. I always felt that the mutant struggle was supposed to be sort of like in itself a form of like lack of privilege, at least, since mutants are usually judged intrinsically and given worse like states and like standards compared to normal people. There's kind of a normal privilege that like most mutants don't get the privilege of like engaging in. So I don't know. Like I totally get what you're trying to say. Like yeah, mutants pretty much are like this minority, but they're like
much rather
higher,
have the superpower.
Yeah, but then you also have to deal with like the societal stigma and the government sending robots after you.
Societal stigma. I have superpowers.
Yeah, but like the superpower of getting to like rap good and eat delicious chicken is also a superpower, but it comes with having to get fucking fucked by the cops all the time, you know? So
Hannibal, is that how you got so good at making beats?
Okay, listen. All right. Listen, I can back this up. I have the superpower of eating really good food on Saturday nights, and getting to fucking wear nice little caps on my hat. But I lack the privilege of getting of not being targeted by Nazis. So there, that's another example. You know?
See?
Yeah. Culture
It's
is a type of superpower.
Hannibal, wait a minute,
I
Ben, hold on.
have white privilege, but I also live in a country ruled by a fucking emperor. So
Exactly.
Hannibal, how'd you get so good at making beats? Like an article said, accurate in your situation.
It's honestly, it's a combination of natural talent and just working my ass off, and just also being black helps. Like it just like I woke up and I was just good at making music. I had natural rhythm. I could always dance. It was just easy. So it was like, all right, I guess we try to make it.
I've seen your white girl dancing.
It's like that episode. It's like that episode of Aqua Teen Hunger Force where Shake turns black and he just like instantly like is a super athletic and can play basketball and rap. They have to turn him white, and then they have to turn him white by making him like drink milk and swim, and he like turns on fire when he gets in the pool. That was a great episode.
Yeah. So and look,
God.
there's an episode of South Park where Cartman starts like a Christian rock group, and
Yes, Faith plus one.
Faith plus one.
Faith plus one. That's right, Faith plus one, and he has the sole black character in South Park, the bass guitar. And he tells and Token's like, I don't know how to play bass guitar. And he tells Token, he said, "You're black, you can play bass." And then Token grabs the guitar and can instantly play it. Look,
He's like, "Fuck you."
No, it goes even deeper because he's like, go to your house and grab your bass. And
Gotta be erratic.
He's like, "You're black. There's a bass guitar in your house." And then the Token comes back and he's like, "Hey, Carmen, there was a bass guitar."
I love his response when he's just like able to automatically do it. He's like, "Fuck you, Carmen."
He just starts playing and he's like, "Fuck."
It's one of those things that is just I can't explain why it is, but it is. It's just
It's the culture you're growing up in.
Actually, I can
Like, as
disprove
a
that.
Jew, I'm really good with money. Okay, that's not true, but
I can actually disprove you guys. Monty is not good at basketball.
well, you only get so
Yeah,
many
no.
good genes, you know.
All
I
right,
can't play bass though. I can't play bass. I did
Nice.
start a band in high school, having never played the bass, and we played multiple shows, and people liked our music.
all
We
right.
we were in no way good. Like you don't want to hear it, but they enjoyed it while drunk.
Yeah.
So-
I'm
Well,
curious.
alright,
I'm curious.
Taking the normal transition that comes between X-Men and racial politics, let's go back to talking about Magneto, huh?
No, I was
Okay.
gonna say my number 9 is
Number 9.
Atrocitus.
Good pick. Good pick.
For my list, I wanted there to be only one representation from each. Like, I didn't want it to just be full of like Batman villains or whatever. So I was like, there's only going to be one from each, representation. So I was really torn between Atrocitus and Sinestro, but personally, I just find Sinestro as a villain more like kind of terrifying.
Well, Sinestro's also been a hero. That's the thing.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. Atrocitus has only ever been a villain. Like, and Atrocitus is like rage and hate incarnate.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Red Lantern Corps. That's what's awesome about them. They're just rage. I'm like, yes.
In DC Universe Online, I literally paid money to get the DLC to allow my character to be a Red Lantern.
Nice.
If you
his backstory when he was so ridiculous as well. He was one of the few creatures to survive the massacre of Sector 666 by the Manhunters.
listen,
his whole reason for hating the Green Lantern Corps and just everything, he's somewhat sympathetic in a way. Like, you can totally 100% understand why he's the way he is.
And he's got his cat with him, which is always
Yeah, Dex.
Yeah, I love the fucking
greatest pet.
Red Lantern
I love the cat.
The cat literally. Have any of you ever heard the cat's backstory? The cat was just a normal cat whose owner was brutally murdered. So the cat got really angry and somehow managed to maul the dude to death. And then the ring appeared. It was like blah 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 of Earth. It was like I can't remember what his name was. It was like Fluffy of Earth. You have shown great rage.
You belong to the Red Lantern Corps.
And it just whipped him off
always
across
like
the galaxy. Where do you know the worst? Dexter is actually like after Atrocitus. Dexter is the most powerful lantern.
Yeah, no. Can I say something that I love about the Red Lantern Corps is all the other Red Lantern Corps, like when the ring appears, it's like it's a gift. But when the Red Lantern Corps, the voice, like it ends with "You belong to the Red Lantern Corps."
Yeah, you don't have a choice with the Red Lanterns.
Yeah, you vomit up all of your fucking blood, and you go feral for quite a while. In fact, most people like it. As I understand it, Atrocitus gets to pick who is and is not feral. Basically,
Yeah, that's true because Atrocitus is the one who kills them.
Yeah. Like
Atrocitus killed the Lantern without even being a Lantern. He killed what's his face, Abin Sur by gutting him.
Yeah.
All right, but your number 8.
All right, so my number 8 is also Carnage. Was my choice for my Spider-Man village. I was torn between him and
Spider-Man village,
and I kind of Spider-Man. I kind of set on Carnage for a lot of the same reasons that Nightmare listed.
He's more evil, more crazy.
Honestly, yeah, no. He's much more
he's a literal serial killer.
Yeah.
He's what?
He's more of a villain than Venom is.
Exactly. And
so
my number 7 is gonna be my first manga pick. This is from the manga Monster. It's Johan Ebert.
Oh. Okay. Describe them.
So he's
Monty, let's get Google ready.
And start googling Monster. It's by Naoki Urasawa.
Johan Ebert. I see.
He's the product of like eugenics programs.
Oh, he's Aryan. Okay, I get it.
Yeah, he's like Aryan as fuck. And he is like he is like the perfect representation of like sociopath. He's
kind of got that stare.
Whenever the manga is called Monster, he is the titular character, Monster.
He's kind of got that stare in his eye that like you always get whenever he's looking at me.
He is a serial killer. Honestly, if anyone has not read any Urasawa work, Monster's a really good place to start. I also like Pluto. But for my number 6 pick, and I'm gonna argue from.
Hold on, Looney. I just wanted to say something about Johan. Yeah. He's kind of got that stare in his eye that like you kind of get whenever you're telling me about like the Jewish cabal and stuff, and how your Nazgul friends are like telling you the truth.
There's a room. He has the same stare as Drunk Looney.
Yeah, Drunk Looney. Whenever he starts talking about
talking about his secret Nazgul beliefs.
6 I have V. From
Vendetta.
V for Vendetta.
Yeah,
I would argue
an Alan Morrison choice. That's a great one.
Yeah, he is argue that he kind of qualifies as a villain, because he's a terrorist. And
essentially,
as much as you sympathize with his goals and stuff, you know, you have to
like Irish and Anarch, like Irish
from at least a certain perspective. He is a villain. And I've always loved V for Vendetta. I have like the collector's edition of the graphic novel.
Anonymous is gonna hack. That's not you just said that.
I own multiple Guy Fawkes masks.
He owns multiple Guy Fawkes masks. He is working on pipe bombs as we speak. He owns the Anarchist cookbook.
Hannibal, I'm
many Guy Fawkes masks you got?
Did someone say pipe bomb?
Oh,
Oh,
No,
shit. I forgot
no.
I forgot we had an Irish man.
Hannibal, you own a couple Guy Fawkes masks?
yeah, I think I got 2 right now.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a like a physical plastic, hard plastic, polyurethane.
Have you guys
joint,
learned
and it
nothing
got
from the
a
police
joint that's
brutality
like
that's happening recently? This isn't a smart idea.
No,
Shut up,
can I
Ben.
tell you why? Can I tell you a few reasons? Like, it's like why the graphic novel's a little bit better.
Yeah, go for
So
it.
you know Evie, the character. So one. Okay, so let's start off one. In the movie, where the fuck did the British monarchy go? Hannibal, do you know?
Wait.
Monty, do you know?
I'm
No,
gonna,
in the
I don't.
movie.
No, I don't. I'm gonna respond to this after you're done because I'm probably gonna agree.
Yeah, it's never addressed.
Continue.
Yeah, no, it's never addressed in the movie. In the graphic novel, it is. I can't remember her name. I'm a little intoxicated. But she's like a princess right now. She's the queen at the time. She's actually like the rest. Another thing that I think like the graphic novel's a lot grittier. Like the main example I always point to is always very early on, and this is why I like to point. So it's not like a little spoiler, but Evie, in the movie, Natalie Portman's character. In the movie, she's out of her house past curfew because she's going to the boss's house.
Another white woman.
To have dinner. Yeah, right. In the graphic novel, she approaches one of the fingermen, because she's not making enough money to get by, so she decided to start prostituting herself.
Monty, there you go. Call up Natalie Portman through your connection to white woman.
Hire Natalie Portman. Listen, if it was an option, I would be saving up money.
How you know I don't already have Natalie Portman?
That's a valid point.
If you do, Monty, I swear, next time I come to New Orleans, hold on. Monty, if you have Natalie Portman next time I'm in New Orleans, you better fucking bring her to the bar.
Yeah. I need proof of this. But no, so for my number 5 from Full Metal Alchemist, I've chosen Pride.
Oh,
Fuck yeah!
nice.
Yes!
Yeah.
FMA. I'm also glad you're not choosing.
I think he is the best of the homunculus.
Yeah.
Homunculi. Homunculi.
Well, fuck you, a plural.
Wait,
plural.
yeah.
Wait, is homunculi
The plural
singular or
of
plural?
homunculus is homunculi. Homunculus is
Okay,
singular.
so okay, yes. So
Ben,
of
we
all
need
the
a stone. What
homunculi,
expect him to pronounce?
I am a
of all the
grammar Nazi, and I
homunculi-
just want us to speak correctly, okay?
of all the homunculi, I find
Jewish
Pride
grammar
to be
Nazi.
I have to be a victim of all Nazism.
And,
Can't I be master of one
honestly,
Nazism?
I feel like he's the most powerful
The grammar
of
Nazi.
all of them.
I
Based
just
on
like the word homunculi, okay?
homunculi. It is a good word, and it's a great insult.
Yeah. You fucking homunculi. That's what this podcast is. Just a bunch of homunculi.
But yeah, no, I kind of find of all of them, he seems like if I had to fight any of the fucking homunculi, Pride would be the last one I wanted to fight. Honestly, just absolutely terrifying, and the fact that he's a fucking child. So no one actually ever sees him coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be the first time like
So
Because he's a
number
child.
4, I have chosen Thanos.
The funny meme man.
The
He's on the
funny
truck.
meme. Yes, absolutely. Yes, the funny meme man. What did it cost you? Everything.
They put him in the Fortnites.
it
I know
ain't
the
much,
one.
but it's hard work.
Thanos. I like the DC universe. a lot more than I like Marvel.
I thought you were gonna say I like the DC Universe version of Thanos. So close.
Yeah, the DC Universe version. The DC Universe version of Thanos. But no, whenever I really sat down and I had to think about like if I had to pick a Marvel villain who I felt was like the best, I kind of really like Thanos personally.
Yeah.
He's a good
Some of his motive. Yeah, some of his he feels like whenever you listen to him like talk about he seems kind of more relatable than
He wants to
villains.
murder half of the universe's entire population.
Yeah, but whenever you listen to his reasoning, why?
Mooney, yes, Mooney, you are a communist.
No, I
Maybe we just
also-
didn't need those 6 million. That's all I'm saying.
Jesus Christ. No, I just feel like he's kind of a very very compelling villain. And I feel like the villains that you can kind of almost understand where they're coming from are really the most compelling.
Yeah, definitely agree with
A
that.
villain that's evil for evil's sake is just fucking boring.
Well, I mean, it depends. You can do some fun stuff with it, like Doctor Zoom.
Well, yeah, yeah, but I mean, you don't want to fucking like Snidely Whiplash.
The more sympathetic you can be with a villain, the better they are as a character.
Exactly. Like you want people to kind of almost be able to see from the villain perspective.
Yeah.
And that kind of creates a compelling story, I feel.
And as a tank, you can understand the perspective of a lot of villains, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's true. Fuck you. But no, I really like Thanos.
Yeah.
I felt like of all the Marvel villains, he was my favorite. For 3, I have Dio Brando. From JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Good choice. I know him, the funny meme man.
You want to talk about you were talking about Thanos, the dude from the memes. Dio is the meme.
Dio is the biggest meme.
Oh god. Dio is just
all right, next character.
Amazing. Fuck you. I had something to say about why I chose Dio, but I just sort of spaced on it.
He's got blonde hair. He can freeze time.
Yeah, memes. He's fucking. He's a dude. He's a dude who accidentally himself into a vampire and then just went with it.
Yeah. He does have a very good dynamic with Jonathan.
Yeah, no, he literally just he didn't even accident. He turned someone else into a vampire. Realized, oh my god, this doesn't kill people, turns them into vampires. Instead, because he had this mask, and his whole plan was, I'm gonna kill JoJo.
So you're just going by part 1.
Fucking no.
I feel like Hannibal has some of his mask to kill people.
Yeah. No, and he has this mask, and he realizes this mask can kill people. It has these spikes that, when it comes into contact with blood, it drives them into the fucking person's head. And then he kills this whole person. The person becomes a vampire, and he's able to kill this vampire. And holy shit! This mask, because his whole idea when he saw the spikes, I'm gonna kill I don't want to.
Woody, when did you turn into Irish with this? Get to the fucking point. Be pithy with it.
All right, fine. He's just a really fucking fun villain. Number 2, yes. I had a tough time deciding between Batman villains because Batman has some of the best.
It is really hard.
So I went with the Joker for this list because we chose comic books. However, if we expanded that into other realms of media, I would choose the Penguin because I
really?
What was his name? I really like Oswald.
Oh,
no.
Too?
The actor from Gotham.
Danny DeVito. Oh.
I really like Gotham's depiction of Penguin. But if we're going with solely comic books, I feel like Joker has some way more interesting story arcs.
I too am a fan of the Joker.
Yeah.
You make the funny joke.
Make the funny joke. Fuck you. You know, from the Killing Joke to literally slicing off his own fucking face and then deciding he made a mistake and stapling it back on.
I really like that.
You know,
yeah. There have just been a lot of really engaging emotional arcs, like that one time. That one time he put like the damage tattoo on his head, like that was a really like.
Jesus Christ! Fuck you. You know, and outside, I'm gonna be real. Outside of comic books, the Joker has had some really compelling portrayals from Mark Hamill.
Cesar Romero.
Yes, Cesar Romero, as creepy as it was for the time, it was really good.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, fucking yeah, and
Jared Leto was all.
Did they? Okay, can I ask a question? Just a little aside. Did they never do an advertisement with Heath Bar where like fucking the Joker comes out and is like, Heath Bar for some reason reminds me of a name of a faggot.
Yeah, no, I can safely say there's no commercial where Heath Ledger says the word faggot while dressed as the Joker talking about Heath Bar.
You want to know how I got this Heath Bar? I went to the local 7-Eleven. They're selling them for $2.99. Delicious.
Marketing genius. Oh, I'm sorry.
Number one.
My number one, and I'm gonna and I thought I was gonna have to argue this. I'm going to give a little bit more, but someone already beat me to the punch. My number one is Darth Vader.
Okay, here's all
and
I
I
need.
felt like I was gonna have to argue why he qualified as a comic character. But if you look at any and Nightmare mainly focused on the OG version of Darth Vader in the comic books. If you look at what the modern day like the canon comic books, the Marvel comic books are doing with Vader, he's a very compelling villain.
All I need you to justify this for me, just
what they're doing with Darth Vader.
Describe to me like a great arc that he had that's comic exclusive. Like that's all I want to hear.
Darth Vader is literally a mythical savior on a primitive planet.
Really?
Darth Vader crash lands. Okay, so I can't remember the name of the story arc. It's the cover of the graphic novel that collects all of it has Darth Vader on like a horse with a shield with the Imperial signet on it. But
that's pretty badass.
Yeah. So Darth Vader crash lands on a planet, and the native population of that planet live underground, mostly in fear of this giant fucking creature. So there's this little kid who's scavenging on the surface, and he sees this dark knight, this like armored black figure, fucking just kill that monster that they lived in fear of. Like it's like an epic battle where Darth Vader just has to fight this alien beast, and this kid watches it, and Darth Vader eventually gets Imperial forces to come pick him up, basically. But that kid runs back to his people and describes what he saw, and then in that culture, Darth Vader is like this mythical hero. He's like their Batman. He's like the Dark Knight that showed up and slew the beast they lived in fear of.
That is a
and
good story.
Literally, Darth Vader was in the space battle, crash landed on their planet, and just had to kill this monster to get, be able to survive.
I know what.
I got to read some more Star Wars comics. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's awed by some of the natives.
Yeah, no. Fucking like if you look at the current comics, Darth Vader's fucking dope. And yeah, so that's my number one, Darth Vader.
I know there's a comic,
okay.
Winnie, I'm not sure which one it was, but there's a famous line where it's like 100 or so rebels have Vader surrounded, and he says,
Oh yeah, no,
but
it's
his
one of the
line
best
is,
lines.
"I am surrounded by fear and dead men."
Yeah, exactly. It's a bunch of rebels. They're like, we have you surrounded, and exactly, he says he's like, I'm surrounded by his fear and dead men.
And then he butchers all of them like nothing.
Yes.
All right, guys.
Let's not go down the Star Wars rabbit hole.
So